If you've spent any time near England's rivers, marshes, or lakes, you'll know they have a certain atmosphere. Not just peaceful, not just beautiful, but watchful. And for hundreds of years, people have told stories about what might be hiding beneath the surface. Today, we're going to take a walk along the water and meet some of the most famous and unsettling spirits and hags from English folklore. Before we set off, welcome back to Echoes of Myths. If you're new here, this is where we explore the legends, creatures, and beliefs that shape the world's folklore. So grab your coat, watch your step on the bank, and as we go, let me know in the comments which of these river spirits you'd never want to meet on a dark night. Or, if you grew up near water, tell me what stories you heard. We'll start in the marshes, where the ground looks solid until it isn't. In parts of Norfolk and Suffolk, people told stories about Jenny Longarms. They pictured her as a thin, pale hag with arms so long she could reach from the dark water right up onto the bank. Children were told, "Don't get too close or Nellie will have you." The first recorded mentions of Nellie date back to at least the 19th century, but she's likely older, part of a wider pattern of English bogey figures meant to keep children safe. In reality, the marshes were dangerous. Hidden channels, sudden sinkholes, deep pools. But Nellie gave parents a more memorable warning than "watch your footing." You know, there's even a local story from Norfolk about a boy who went chasing his ball near a pond and vanished without so much as a splash. The older villagers would just shake their heads and say, "Nellie got him." Likely a tragic accident, but that's how these tales sink in and stay alive. And interestingly, marsh hags like Nellie turn up all over England in one form or another. In Yorkshire, some people even use the same Jenny Greenteeth stories told in Lancashire, just swapping the setting to their own pomps. Similar figures appear elsewhere. In Yorkshire, there's Jenny Greenteeth, and in some rural tales, nameless, long-armed women haunt ponds. The core idea is the same. If the land's unstable, personify it as a predator. Following the water inland brings us to Jenny Greenteeth, one of the most famous English water hags. Her home? The rivers and ponds of Lancashire. Her appearance? Green skin, sharp teeth, and long hair floating in the current. Her favorite victims? The unwary, especially children and the elderly. Jenny's name shows up in Victorian writings as a nursery bogey, meaning she was part of everyday cautionary storytelling. The thick green duckweed and algae covering stagnant ponds became known as Jenny Greenteeth's blanket, hiding the danger underneath. Up in County Durham, Jenny has a cousin, Peg Powler of the River Tees. Peg is similar in look, green-haired, sharp-toothed, and always ready to pull victims in. The froth on the river is still called Peg Powler's suds in some areas, a phrase that keeps her legend alive, even if most don't know the story behind it. Scholars often link both figures to older European beliefs about female water spirits, from Slavic Rusalki to the Celtic Ban Nia. And again, there's the practical lesson. Rivers can kill as surely as any monster. One 19th century folklorist, William Henderson, even recorded a short rhyme about Peg. Peg Powler, she's a bad un. She'll catch you by the legs and pull you down. You can almost hear parents using it like a sing-song warning for their kids. And while Peg's name is most famous on the Tees, there are similar green-haired hags along rivers in Scotland and Ireland too. Different names, same warning. In the shallows of Yorkshire ponds and meres lurks the Grindylow, small, green-skinned, with long bony fingers, perfect for grabbing ankles. These creatures were part of local cautionary tales, told to frighten children away from deep or weedy water. Folklorists suggest the name may come from the Old English grindle, meaning grip or snare, a fitting title for something imagined to drag you under. In some accounts, they wait in groups, one seizing a victim's legs while another pulls. Though they've found their way into modern fantasy, most famously in the Harry Potter series, the Grindylow's roots run deep in Yorkshire and Lancashire folklore, where the water was never as calm as it looked. Not all water spirits were grotesque. The Asrai, from Cheshire and Shropshire folklore, were described as small, beautiful beings, fragile as mist. Said to live for hundreds of years beneath still waters, they would wither and die if touched by sunlight. In some versions, if caught by a fisherman, an Asrai would beg to be released, and if refused, it would slip through the net like water. The Asrai may have roots in much older European lake fairy traditions, and they offer an interesting twist. Beauty doesn't mean safety. In some stories, they charm their captors into the water, never to be seen again. Near the mouth of rivers and along the coast, you might meet the Shellycoat. Covered head to toe in clattering shells, he, or sometimes she, was a trickster. Shellycoats were said to mislead travelers by imitating cries for help, luring them into marshes or streams. When the victim realized they'd been fooled, the Shellycoat would laugh, a rattle of shells, and vanish. The name comes from Scotland, but the figure appears in Northern English folklore as well, showing how stories travelled with fishing communities and river traders. It's one of many examples where folklore ignores national borders. These water spirits might sound like simple bedtime scares, but they served important purposes. They taught water safety long before lifeguards and warning signs. They preserved local identity, with each village having its own monster just down the lane. And they connect England's folklore to a much wider human tradition of giving a face and a name to natural dangers. So next time you pass a quiet pond, or watch a river sliding by, remember Jenny Longarms, or Jenny Greenteeth, or Peg, or the Grindylow, or the Asrai. They might not be waiting for you, but they're still waiting in the stories. Well, if you're still here, then you're my kind of person. Thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. I hope you had as much fun listening as I did telling these stories. If you enjoyed this little wander through folklore, tap that like button so I know. And if you want to join me for more, hit subscribe. There's plenty more strange, eerie, and wonderful tales waiting for us.